Wait. What are you doing here? This is the second part. You got to watch the first part first. You know what? I don't even care. Bryce, take this over, please.
Okay. I guess. Also, shout out to Young Walnut for using his music for his intro and outros. You can find him on YouTube and SoundCloud. Also, follow us on Twitter. It's at DYHAT Podcast. It's DYHAT Podcast. Follow us when we tweet about stuff. Also, memes. Hey, Derek. I know you didn't leave. I know you're here.
Yeah, I'm always here. I'm a little peeved off that these guys are going to the second episode and not the first. They better watch the first one first.
I mean, it makes sense.
Does it?
Start the episode.
Yep.
Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of Halloween in Review special of the Did You Hear About This? It's a podcast about stories. I'm Bryce.
Hey, I'm Demon.
Yeah, he has devil horns. That's Derek. He's blowing devil horns at me. Because we're still in the Halloween spirit, even though it's super past Halloween.
It's almost Christmas time. Because fuck Thanksgiving. It's the scariest time of the year. It's almost Black Friday.
See, people get so mad when people have Christmas music right after Halloween. I'm like, all right, play some Thanksgiving music.
We don't have any.
Exactly.
Literally.
That's what I'm like, fine, play Christmas music. I don't care.
I don't have an issue with it, mostly because if I don't want to, I'm one of those people where I don't like something, I'll just change it.
Yeah.
And the station that I listen to, it plays regular music, and then it will play, well, you listen to the same station, actually, so you'll realize it. It plays regular music, and then every now and then, it'll play a Christmas song, but not like a traditional one. Like, it'll play like something like Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that works.
Yeah, there's also a lot of covers of classic Christmas songs by, like, modern bands.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Weezer does one. It's like, people do, like, so there's covers out there of good music of the classic songs. So I'm fine with it.
One of the things I always hate is that the songs that I like are old enough that they won't be played as new things or get covers.
Yeah.
But they're not classics.
Yeah.
So you only hear them very randomly. Like last year, I like Merry Christmas, Darling. I know that's a weird, I don't know if that's a weird song to like, but I like that one. I only heard it once, and it was at work. So I had to listen to it with everyone around me talking, and I was just like, I just wanted to yell, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to listen to this Christmas song.
All right. So, last part of Halloween in Review, we covered all of Halloween Horror Nights.
It's like we're like the president, but instead of a year in review, we have a Halloween in review.
Yeah, and this is, for both of us, Halloween is our favorite holiday.
Is it really your favorite holiday, Bryce?
It is.
All right.
Aesthetically, it's my favorite holiday.
Okay, I can believe that.
I love everything about it.
I think,
including me get scared, I like that.
I think most people, like when you're a kid, Christmas is your favorite holiday.
Yeah.
But once you get older, you have to buy other people's shit.
I know.
You start
it's so
to
expensive.
Yeah, you start to realize, maybe I should pick a different favorite holiday. And either you go to New Year's if you like alcohol, or you go to Halloween if you like being scared and alcohol.
And Halloween, yes, everyone be scared of alcohol. Thanksgiving is be yelled at by your relatives and alcohol. New Year's Eve is seeing explosions and alcohol, and July 4th is seeing explosions and alcohol.
Yep.
Okay, so
and Boxing Day.
So we covered all of Halloween Horror Nights. I have down. You went to a total of 5 different.
All together? Yep. I've been trying to spread out my haunting experience.
Yes, I went to 3 total. So we have 2 of them that 3 of them went together with, and there's 2 that I didn't go to. But Derek just rant on them for a little bit.
Honestly, if next year we should try and go up to Georgia and do some haunted houses.
Honestly, there's enough down here. We can make this 5 go much higher.
Yeah, I know. We can get up to. If we have the
looked
time,
up just like our area. The list was like 30.
Yeah, there's a million of them. Some of them are really. Like one of them we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Some of them aren't the most put together.
It was fantastic.
It was fun.
It was really good. So let's start out with, we went to Busch Gardens Hollow Scream, which is Howl O Scream. That bothers me on an emotional level.
This was your first year.
Yes.
I've been going, I want to say for 3 years now. And it shows.
So when I looked at these ones, like the last one, so they were ranked. These ones weren't ranked. They were just, there was one, some returning ones and one brand new house.
That's their thing. Unlike HHN, they repeat a lot. They switch them up a little, but they repeat a lot.
So the one new one was called The Residence. Do you remember The Residence?
I remember every house we went through. I was just going to let you go first.
Oh, this. So, okay. I'm going to say this right now. Compared to how Halloween Horror Nights, I wasn't the hugest fan of Busch Gardens.
Bryce didn't even really get scared that much.
I did not.
You probably had like one or two actual good jumps.
I thought some of the ideas in some of the houses were fantastic. I thought the aesthetics were awesome. The actual scares themselves didn't get me.
Yeah.
Like, almost at all. Now, I was a little disappointed, but like, at the end of the day, I'm like, it's designed well.
At the end of the day, you're one of those guys, Bryce. At the end of the day.
Well, all right, that's just how I talk. Shut up. So, The Residence. Do you have thoughts on this one? Maybe give me a little refresher.
I actually really liked it. Well, the concept was pretty much just a killer family with some weird stuff going in between it. I like the idea of it. The problem that I always have, and you'll realize this with Busch Garden houses, is that they don't have really creative layouts. It's kind of like, all right, just go next scene to the next scene to the next scene.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bits on there was, I don't think it scared you, but I think you did get caught off by it, was the part where the guy like ran up against the like it was like a flower fence, like it was an old wooden fence, and it made like a big noise.
Yeah,
I liked that scene. That was very good.
I wasn't. Yeah, I looked over at it, but I didn't like yell at it.
Yeah, you didn't freak out.
Yeah, context when I went through the HHN houses, my go-to was "oh fuck."
Yeah,
me screaming that. So when I went through those ones, I didn't unfortunately yell any of that at all. Yeah. But I did. I yell "oh fuck," and then I also talk to the scare actors, and Derek hates that.
I hate that you chat with them
because
they're not there to chat.
It's my coping mechanism, and with Busch Gardens, they chat back.
Yeah, that's probably the good thing. Okay, as much as Bryce will say he was more affected by HHN than Howl-O-Scream, my favorite thing about Howl-O-Scream is that only certain ones actually have like voice lines they have to mime.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're just allowed to go off script and talk about whatever the fuck they want. And I like the idea of that because that's how you get people who are willing to scream their voice out. Or if Bryce goes, "How's your day going?" They'll make something up on the spot, like, "Well, I chopped off these 3 arms the other day," and they'll go on like some fucking rant.
Yeah, we had little off track a little bit. We were in a scare zone. They're stopping to get friends who could stop me to get something to drink or something, and the person just walked up and just started talking to us.
Yep.
And she was heavily implying that she was going to murder me.
Yep.
But we didn't. She didn't come out and say that.
Yeah, we were just talking about lightweight.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, get him off your,
take him off your hands."
Yeah, take him off your hands. And we're like, "I'm good, it's fine." And she's like, "Are you sure?" Going to you guys, like, "Are you sure?" He seems to be like weighing you down. We can take that away if you want. And then our friends walked up, and you were like, "Oh, we're talking about killing Bryson." And she's like, "Whoa, no!"
Yeah, and then she just walked away like, "That's not cool." And I went, "All right." And those are like the reactions you get when you go to Howl-O-Scream. They're much more personal, I guess would be the proper word. Yeah. Like, okay, because we're not really discussing scare zones because one, Howl-O-Scream has a million scare zones.
Yeah.
But we had one where we were walking and there was a guy with like a heavy ass chain.
Yes.
Who just followed us. Not close enough that we knew he was following us, but close enough that we kept hearing the chain drag on the ground.
Because this scare zone he was supposed to be in was massive.
Yeah.
Because Howl-O-Scream is a lot more wide.
That's because it has all those animals in there. Yeah. They need more space.
So the guy following us with the chain followed us for a good 5 minutes.
Honestly, he walked out of his scare zone. We left that scare zone and he was still behind us for a while.
Oh, it was effective because Samson's freaking out. Yeah. So back to The Residence. I honestly, you heard me say it. Can you please refresh my memory? I do not remember this house very well.
See, that's another problem.
There's 2 of these. There's 6 houses in total. I don't remember
the
2 of these.
Well, the Residence didn't. The reason why we don't remember is because that was literally the first house we went into.
Yeah,
we went straight to the new house.
Yeah.
The problem with going straight into the new house is that because we only went once. I'm gonna admit because it's where we're at is a very far drive.
Yes.
To get there. Honestly, if we go next year,
the drive was fun.
It was a fun drive. Bryce got the drive. He doesn't drive well.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't drive well.
Anyways.
But honestly, if we ever go to do it next year, we should just make a weekend out of it if we can.
Yeah.
because there's also where Screamageddon is. It's it's over in Tampa as well.
All right.
So we could literally do 1 and 1, and then we can hit the casino. I like to gamble. Anyways, it's a really bad habit.
It's destroying my family. Anyways.
I'm like Fred Flintstone.
So, the residence I remember walking into and walking out of.
Yeah, it really...
Because you walk past, literally, it was like a fence.
It was literally the least memorable of the houses.
Yeah.
And I think that's because it was an anniversary year. This is their 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
So their big thing was on, here's all this stuff from the past. So it was the only new thing.
Yeah.
And it didn't leave a big impact.
Yeah.
Which is a really sad thing because 9 times out of 10, things do leave. Like the year before, there was 2 houses that didn't return this year.
Yeah.
That house is probably not going to return, not because it was bad, but just because it didn't leave an impact. The worst thing, you can be a bad house and you can be a good house. You can't be an unrememberable house.
Yes.
Which this house most definitely was.
Unfortunately.
Mostly because I'm stalling for time. Because I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't, honestly, other than that fence, I don't remember shit about this fucking house.
It was... It says a lot.
Yeah,
because
it's not memorable.
I remember things from as I said, out of these 6 houses, I remember 4 of them vividly.
Yeah, and then the other
good portions, and then there's 2 of them like eh. So let's go on to the next.
I'm curious what the second one is that you don't remember.
I'm just gonna go on the list of how I wrote them. This isn't any particular order.
Okay.
Next up is Deathwater Bayou, Wrath of the Queen.
Deathwater Bayou is one of those houses that's been there for multiple years.
Yes.
And it doesn't really switch as much. Now, some people might argue against this one, but I remember one year, like the first year I went, there's a scene where there's a funeral. Do you remember this funeral where they had people holding a coffin? I remember they made you walk under that coffin. Like you had to do like a little crouch and go under it to get to the next room.
Yeah, you were telling me about that while we were in the house.
Yeah. Now it's a little over to the left, and they have a little guy there watching to make sure no one fucks with this coffin.
Yeah.
And you have to walk around it.
It's probably some event. Somebody like took out a person and it fell or something.
Honestly, no. I think somebody more or less might have hit their head.
Yeah.
Not paying attention to this crouch you have to do.
So this was the first one I vividly remember. Because we were walking into it, there was a scare actor outside.
Yeah.
And she was just old woman just hanging out. She's like, "Come on back to the bayou." I'm like,
down New Orleans.
Yeah.
It does take place in New Orleans.
And it was the first one I remember the people in the bungees.
Yeah.
That is one that they use I'm going to say they use a lot at Hollow Scream. They use people in the bungees.
That's one of their go-tos is bungees.
Yeah. And I remember that one there was like 3 rooms in a row that had like at least 2 people.
Yep.
In every single room on bungees. So we were like S-ing around their bungee areas.
Yep. That's probably one of the better houses they've done. That's why it's been around so long, because people really like that house. I like it. Okay, I'm a big fan of New Orleans. I've only been there once.
Yeah.
But I was there for such a long time. I like that, like almost like a week long.
Yeah.
And when you're doing the tour stuff, it's fun. When you're not being a tourist and you're just walking around, you're like, let's walk down the street. You can find a million things to do, because it's just like one of those old school towns that haven't been really touched.
Yeah.
And when you go there, and the picture in everyone's head is, oh, you go there for Mardi Gras and people get drunk and they have fun and all that. But even if you don't go there for that, you can find something to do. There's always something to do.
See, you see Mardi Gras from New Orleans, which is the usual go-to. I want to go down there for Halloween.
Honestly,
Halloween in New Orleans would probably be the best thing.
I was actually supposed to go this year. I skipped it to go to the other 2 haunted houses we're going to be talking about. But I skipped it. We were going to go on my mother's birthday. They have a Halloween parade. And it was on her birthday. And I was sitting like, that's perfect.
Because when you think of New Orleans, you think of like all like the voodoo stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's awesome.
The worst part about it, though, is, Bryce, because I don't know what your knowledge on voodoo is.
Very little. It's from Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
So you don't know a lot about voodoo. You know a lot about like Hollywood voodoo.
Yeah.
And when you go to New Orleans, they do have people who do the Hollywood voodoo stuff where it's like, oh, we're going to try and be creepy. But then if you go to like things where it's like, it's historical, they will tell you how wrong you are. And they're like, voodoo is a very respected religion here in New Orleans. And it was like, they'll make you feel like a sack of shit. They're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling so bad now.
I'm like, can I watch you do it?
Bryce, they have events where they literally just have people show up.
Yeah.
And they have like the voodoo queen or whatever. I think it's queen still. I think that's still the terminology, if I'm correct. where she holds like an event where they just do rituals and they let people watch. Like the public will just go to this random park and they'll just sit and watch them do stuff. Kind of like a festival of some sort, which we can go do, Bryce. You gotta be willing to. Because apparently some shit can go down depending on how you feel.
Let's go on to the next house. Remember, this is no in particular order. This is one I think we actually did last, was Insomnia Patience Revenge.
Insomnia's Patience Revenge is the second year this has been here. It was a new house last year.
Yes.
And it pretty much the room stayed beat for beat. The pathing didn't switch. The concept switched because originally it was the doctors performing things people like sleep apnea and stuff like that. So each room had like a different thing, like, oh, counting sheep. They're evil sheep. Yeah. The boogeyman. There's somebody under the bed with their hands like trying to get you. Nightmares of people falling. Oh, there's a projection of somebody falling. This year it was the concept of the people getting out and attacking the doctors and stuff like that. So it was a lot more chaotic. And I know the people we went with, I think Sam didn't like it as much because her favorite character was the first lady in the first room. Yeah. And she went from like receptionist who's like, all right, keep it moving, come on through, to just crazy person at a fucking desk. Yeah. Which the concept worked if you didn't want to pay attention to anything, but it just really took away from the spirit of the first house. And that's probably my biggest issue with this year, because we'll get to a house that I had that was my favorite that I thought they fucked up. But it took the spirit out.
Yeah, so when it was my first year going through. Yeah. So I was going through and hearing about from you guys how the year before was, and the fact that they just kept a lot of the effects. Yeah. I thought the effects they had were fantastic. And like the fact they kept them and they changed the theme a little bit, it didn't really work, because you said the different like sleep apnea and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be in place then.
Yeah, exactly.
The patients take over. It should just be patients.
It should be chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were going through these couple rooms where people, it looks like monsters are like poking out of the wall and stuff. Yeah. And really cool effect. And there's a room I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about. It's a padded room.
Oh, the last room. This is like literally the last room of the house.
Very last room of the house. And walking through the padded room, the walls shift.
Yep. They move back and forth, which is a really amazing idea.
Yes. It was fantastic. And then there's just like a scare actor just standing in the room.
They're just smack dab in the middle.
An old woman just standing in the room with you.
Bryce, this is the second time you brought up an old woman in Hollow Scream.
These old women and me just keep going. I don't like it.
Fuck cougars. Bryce is in the dinosaurs.
Yeah, so we're going through this room, and then we're halfway through, and then the line stops, and a woman's right next to me, and she gets really close.
Because the wall's moving. Yeah. So you're stuck.
So we're stuck right next to each other. She's just staring at me, just looking right in my face. I'm like, hello? I won't, don't worry, I'm going to leave as soon as this line starts moving. Because a lot of times, during a lot of the houses, people like you screaming like get out and stuff. I'm like, I'm trying, man.
I'm trying to move.
This is the way to the exit, apparently.
One thing I did like in that house, though, is that one of the houses that didn't return had a big animatronic that sat outside. Yeah. And I guess, since the house didn't return, they're like, we're not going to tear this thing apart. They put it in that house, actually. Yeah. There's a room where it's like, I guess, an apocalypse, like an explosion of some sort went off. Yeah. And I guess it's supposed to be hell. Mm-hmm. They put the robot in that scene where hell is, so it looks weird because if you know where that robot comes from, it's like he's supposed to be in the forest. Yeah. Why is he here?
I'm gonna go back to one of the other rooms that actually scared me. I don't think I yelled, but it scared like everyone in our group. Was we went to it was kind of like a half lit room, the other half just darkness, and someone dressed in all black just walks out of the darkness, and that got like everyone we were with.
So the worst part about that is that scene, they do that a couple times in some of the other houses, where it's just the dark room with the white faces. Yeah, it works really well because you don't realize how close they are to you until you realize this face is enlarging, and you're like, huh, that's weird. Oh shit, it's coming. But yeah, that was a very good little scene.
So, Derek.
What's up?
It's time for you to rant.
Is this my house?
Motel Hell Infestation.
I hated this fucking house. Motel Hell is another house. I want to say it's been there. I want to say this is year 4 or 5. I'm losing track. It was there before I started going. Yeah. It was an amazing house. The whole concept is, what if there was a motel and each room had a different scary bit in it? Yeah. But so it was like a variety house, kind of like how Slaughtered Cinema was, or it's like, oh, different movies. It was different rooms. This year, they went with a pest control thing, and it just didn't work very well because it was mostly just pest control guy. There was one scene in the very beginning where they had like this huge cockroach standing outside next to the telephone booth. Yeah. That was the only time you saw that big fucking bug was there. Yeah. But the biggest thing that I hate about this fucking house, my favorite room in this fucking house, past few years, was a hallway with windows on the sides. They were windows. Yeah. And there, above you there's a chainsaw scare, but if you're not really paying attention to that, there's a ghost. It would be a ghost lady who would just walk up the room with you. It was a lady who just was there. Yeah. And when you got to the end of the hallway, it would turn and look, and then it would jump out of the wall. Yeah. Like a person would jump out of the wall and scare you. This year, that hallway still has the chainsaw stupid bit, but on the walls are just bugs. And it's like, this is fucking stupid. They could have, at least if they would have did that, they could have made like a really big cockroach costume guy walk with you, and then he just busts out. That would have been fine, but there's just nothing there. Yeah. And that, and sorry, I'm going on a long rant, Bryce. Good, you keep looking at me.
I'm just listening, man.
They play not Enter Sandman. Mr. Sandman. Yeah. They play Enter Sandman. That'd be funny. But no, they play Mr. Sandman throughout the house. They cut that. There's only like 1 or 2 bits where it actually plays. Yeah. Fucking horrible. All right, you can go now.
So, I'm going to do from my perspective into this house. Mm-hmm. Going to this house, Derek's like, this is my favorite house. It's going to be so much fun. First room, still kind of energies up. Second room, Derek's quiet.
I got so depressed in this house.
And Derek was quiet for the rest of the house. And I was at one point, I'm like, Derek, it's supposed, hey man. It's a scary bit. Is that good?
Bryce tried to humor me.
Yeah, I tried to help because he was so distraught. This entire house.
They fucked it up so bad.
So you want to get off this house so you can feel better. Yes. Let's go to the house that I don't remember. Black Spot Bloodshed.
The reason why you don't remember the Black Spot is because it has been considered the worst house. Every year it's been there.
Did we do it?
We did. That was the pirate one.
Oh, yeah. That's the pirate one.
That was the shitty pirate house that had the weird carpet on the ground. It was smushy.
Yeah. We stepped on that part, and I'm like, I don't want to stand here anymore.
Yep, it was weird.
The only part I remember the pirates. Mm-hmm. I don't remember if it was a house or whatever. Yeah. Wasn't that the first one we did?
Nope. That was the one after. That was the one after the Fiend show.
I seriously really do not remember this house.
Trust me, it's unforgettable.
The only time I remember pirates was walking out, and some dude was like, "You coming to the crew?" And I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Go that way," and he's pointing to the exit.
But literally, the only problem with it is that there's nothing going on in there. It seems like the most neglected house because there's parts in it. You know how we were talking about cast changes. Mm-hmm. Problem with House Room is I don't think sometimes they don't have enough people. Period. So they put people where they need them. Yeah. And this house is like the bottom tier. Like, if we got people, sure, we'll throw them in.
We'll open this house, maybe.
Yeah. It's really bad for a pirate concept because it doesn't explain, are they just pirates? Or are they ghosts? Or are they the living dead pirates? Or what are these people? And you don't get that answer.
They're just yelling at us about, like, pirate stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, you're just a pirate. You're just a pirate guy.
There was one scene.
I'm gonna leave.
There was one scene. I don't think it was there this year. I want to say it was last year where they had like a pirate guy. Yeah. But he was like not bejeweled, but he had like a weird like gold and like gems on his face and stuff like that. So he had a stagnant face. Yeah. He was probably the coolest thing in there because it looked like they put detail into him. Like I'm guessing he was the main guy because it was his treasure. I guess. Okay. He wasn't there this year. So it looked really weird.
Yeah, just a bunch of pirate people.
Yeah, it was just all pirate people. And you can tell part 2 is not as exciting. We should have did this for part 1 and get HHM for part 2.
Well, it's gonna pick up a little bit later. We're just talk. I think from here on out it should be more upbeat.
Yeah, you can tell Howl-O-Scream, it costs $40 for a reason.
Yeah. So let's move on from this one because you're getting pretty sad.
I'm always sad.
So about the one that the line I thought was the best line in any scary place. Okay. Simon's Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
I think that line was the best line.
Simon's Slaughterhouse?
Better than HHN. better than all of Busch Gardens. The lines. If you compare the lines, this one's great.
Yeah, because it was literally just like a Simon Slaughterhouse it's its second year being there.
Yeah.
And the only thing that it dropped was in the previous year, Simon would come over the intercom and be like, Simon says, and he would say something like, die, and somebody would jump out. But Simon says, puke, and you go into the room and it would smell bad.
Yeah.
They dropped that bit. Other than that, similar house. The queue line is amazing because since it's a farm, like, slaughterhouse theme, it's like you're, like, the pigs going through the, through the barricades.
I was a picture of like the cat or something just waiting on the. They have like fake grass you're standing on, so you're waiting on the fake grass, and the noises that they're playing isn't music.
Yeah, it's just noise.
It's the noise of people like pigs and animals being slaughtered. So there's just like all the noises, and you hear like chainsaws and stuff, and you're just like waiting for your turn to die, and it's like go up to like a stage of like the front of the slaughterhouse where it says the poultry, the pigs, and the cattle.
And you get forced into one of them.
Yeah, there's scare actors like on the stage, and there's the executioner, and they go and they pull like your groups from the place, and they put you in certain doors.
Yeah,
and that's super cool.
It kind of sucks that as soon as you go through that door, you reconnect at that point.
I think that's fine. Honestly.
Really?
I feel like if you put 3 completely different houses, that's way too much work.
Well, not even that. I just want it. Not even 3 complete. I wish it was just like one whole room of separation. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because you go in there and it's just like a bunch of you go through like the small like wooden barricades and there's like 1 or 2 scare actors in that room, and then you convene back to the other and back into one section.
Yeah.
I still think that line was the rest of the house. It was just a lot of honestly, it smelled really. It made it smell gross on purpose.
Yeah,
and so it fit. And then it was just a bunch of like pig and like cow being slaughtered noises and people like yelling at you, and I'm like, let's leave.
And people getting put in the incinerators and stuff like that.
It was very dark in there too.
The fun thing about that one is the queue line, even though the queue line was still the same, where you entered from was differently from the year previously. You ended up from the side to the right where we were just looking at the whole time. Yeah. And they had guys out there, and they had like this like slaughter equipment and stuff like that, and they would just jump at people as they were in the line. That was their job. They were just scaring people in the line while they waited. Yeah. One of those guys made fun of the way I walk. You know, I walk on my toes, right? Yeah. So everyone, I walk on my toes. Nothing special about it. Just something funny thing to point out. The guy was trying to be all scared. He's walking next to me, and he noticed that, and he does. Okay, I can't show them, but I'm going to show you. He hops up on his toes and does this.
He does like a bunny, like a
fucking poodle or something. Yeah. And I just started laughing, and he laughed too, and I'm like, no, you don't break character to laugh. You scare me now, damn it.
Yeah, so that was great. And I love I'm going to go back to the line.
It was an amazing key line.
It fit the aesthetic, and it was perfectly made.
Where if you go to some, like, HHN has something like that. If you go through the, like the main house, the big house, like where Ghostbusters is, it has the same thing, but it doesn't feel right because it's like, why is this here? That one made it feel important to be in that queue line. Like you were just waiting to die at that point.
Yeah, like last year it was, I don't remember.
It was Stranger Things last year.
No, I'm talking about the one where they had Us was this year. There was like a long hallway you just walk down. It was Scary Tales last year. There's a long hallway you walk down, and just no scares. It just build up. And I like that. It's like a little build up before the house. And this one, it was like you're in that line for like 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes of build up, and you're like, I'm next.
Especially when
please don't make me chicken. Please don't make me chicken. Please don't make me chicken.
Chicken. No.
Oh, my night is ruined.
But especially because they got the biggest. Not only was he tall, he was very wide, gentleman.
It's a very large man.
Yeah, if anything, you weren't getting past him if you wanted to run away.
Yeah, this is the executioner. I'm just under 6 foot. I looked up to this man.
Yeah, he was very
hard.
tall. Gentleman.
He's very tall.
That happened once. If you don't mind me skipping to tell a story real quick.
Sure.
There was a guy who was that tall, if not a little taller. Yeah. At HHN. About 2 years ago, whatever the Dead Man's Wharf one was, where they had like the killer fishermen and stuff like that. Okay. And the fishermen were trying to scare him. Like, they were looking up like, and he was just looking down like, go away. Go that way.
Go away, small fisherman.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to do to him? He's going to punch you over the head like a cartoon character. Just like a nail. But I love when big guys go to HHN because most of the time, or go to any horror thing, because most of the time people don't try and scare them because they know what the lost cause.
Yeah.
But there's always that one who's like, I'm gonna go for it, and it never works.
Like even if you're big and you go to HHN or like any scary place, you paid money to be there.
Yeah.
You should get scared too,
or at least have somebody attempt to do scaring.
So I'm like, you should scare everyone equally, even the small child in the stroller.
No, did you see that video this past year?
You told me about it in vivid detail.
There was I can't remember what event it was, but there was a baby, and there was a baby in a stroller.
Yeah.
And literally the guy's walking by. He's just walking by nonchalantly. He's a monster guy. He jumps and screams at this child in this stroller. And this kid cannot run away because it is locked in a stroller.
Yeah.
And it just freaks the fuck out. Like, and then the kid next to it, he just starts chasing that one. And the kid's like, I don't want to, mama. And it's like freaking out.
Yeah.
And the people who are recording are just losing their shit. Because it's like, wow, he was putting his
trauma
all in.
is hilarious.
Yeah, those kids are never going to live that down. They're going to be
God.
afraid. They're going to counseling to talk about that.
We're going to go into a house later that I feel like you kids can go through, allowed to go through, because it wasn't, that.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. So, we only have one thing left for Busch Gardens, and that's the show.
And this is Bryce's favorite part.
I mentioned that I liked they were strippers. They were
more or less.
They're exotic dancers.
There we go. Let's be appropriate
and they
here.
very exotically danced on the stage, dressed in very small nurses' outfits
with pretty much no skirts. It was pretty much just shirts at that point.
I'm gonna say very small outfits because they were guys too, and I'm not gonna say which one I prefer.
You know what the worst part is? Before we move on to the actual show itself, we're still talking about the nurses. Where we sat.
Yeah.
I hated the fucking seats.
Yeah.
Y'all picked the seats. I went, these are horrible seats. They were far over to like the left.
Yeah.
Perfect angle to watch the nurses. I went from, I hate these seats to like, wow, these are pretty damn good seats. I'm glad we sat here.
I didn't like the seats because they were made of metal.
Yeah, they're
actual
like
seats themselves.
Yeah, they're made of like, they're metal benches.
Yeah.
Inside for some reason. Usually do metal benches outside.
Yeah, it's like bleachers for like sports.
Yeah.
Or like high school sports, but they were inside. So the show itself, as Derek described to me, was pretty much the same as last year, except they had different jokes.
Literally, every year I've gone, it's just different jokes. It's more topical jokes.
Yeah.
And it's, the dance numbers might be a little different, but they're still the same cues. Like the vampire guy comes out, the mummy guy comes out.
Did they have different music?
Yeah, music switches depending on the year.
So
most of it they probably didn't get the rights to do. They probably just were like, we'll use this song.
There's several different reasons why they don't record this show.
Yeah.
And it was good. I think it was honestly, because I don't have a lot of grandiose opinions besides that one line about all Busch Gardens. I think this was the highlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the show. And the worst part is,
you're good.
If you go into like the haunt community around here, who just do like the big ones and some of the, when I say the big ones, I mean like the ones that have notoriety.
Yeah.
Fiend show is considered, for some reason, it was always in a competition with the Bill and Ted show.
Yeah.
Even though they're not the same show.
Yeah.
One. I would compare Fiends more towards the Beetlejuice show. They got canceled not too long ago.
Yeah.
Because it's more of just witty dialogue, jokes about the current topics, and dancing.
And dancing that hasn't changed.
Yeah, dancing really hasn't really changed that much.
Yeah.
Where with Bill and Ted, it was more of parodies. You had people dressed as the celebrities. They would come out and make the joke. Where Fiends would just make the joke and move on to the next joke, which I think I prefer more. I don't really like parody that much.
Yeah. Do you know what's really sad? They canceled the Bill and Ted show, and now they're coming out with the Bill and Ted movie.
Yeah, that was the point. That's the reason why they got rid of it.
Oh, because you don't have the rights anymore?
No, they don't. They didn't want the conflicting. Because if you make a Bill and Ted movie where they're 30 now, why would you have this show when they're still like 16? The rumor on the street is that they'll be bringing it back for 30. Apparently, there was like a survey or something.
All right, we'll see.
Which I think,
it want to be topical, then it'd probably just be like throwbacks.
That's what it'll probably be.
Yeah.
I think if anything, they could probably do like a reference to them, just so they don't interrupt with the movie.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to do another comedy show, we have Beetlejuice still. Yeah. Just have him do it.
We only have Beetlejuice as like meet and greets sometimes.
Yeah.
Have him do something.
We can do him. Yeah. He was the very first HHN that was Fright Nights, the very first one.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice had his own show.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted didn't get their show till the next year.
Yeah.
So technically, Beetlejuice was there first.
Yeah.
He needs to claim his spot.
You just quickly run through that. It was Beetlejuice was there first.
He was there first. Yeah, so what's next?
So let's move on. That's all of Busch Gardens. There's some scare zones, if you can call them that. The one was just Dia de los Muertos, which was just people dancing in skeleton masks.
It was, that one wasn't. There's the thing with scare zones, at least with talking about them, is you can go through a scare zone a million times, and still not see everything.
Yeah,
which I like about it because there's always something new going on, even if it could be the smallest one in the world. Scare zones are really fun. My favorite one, I can't remember what it was called though. It was the one where they were like trick or treaters, but they weren't scaring people. They were just hiding in the back of the woods, and you would just look around and be like, "This is creepy."
So last year, the year before, one of the years I went, my first years of HHN, they had the trick or treat concept at HHN through like the tree section, and I was going through, and there's people on stilts to one of the tall doors. And someone went up and knocked on the door, and they just peeked around. And they went up to the door, and they're like, no, knock on the door. They pointed at the door, like, knock on it. They didn't say anything, but they just kept pointing at it. The guy walks up, like, okay. As soon as he rang the doorbell, they screamed at him. I lost it. That was one of my favorite memories. All right, so let's move on to, there was 2 events that I did not go with you
Bryce didn't get to go to. He had to go to work.
I had to do my job and make money.
I decided not to make money. I decided to spend it and go to...
Yes. You went to... I had first marked down as Petrified Forest. I don't know which one you went to first.
We went to Petrified Forest first and then Dark Horizon.
So I put down Petrified Forest. So how was that?
Petrified Forest is really neat, mostly because it's literally about 20 minutes to half an hour away from where I live.
Yeah.
It's not that far at all.
Yeah.
When you think Petrified Forest, and at least how it was explained to me, I was told you go into the woods and there's scary stuff in the woods. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's all outside.
Yeah.
It's not. They use the woods, but it's mostly on a path like most haunted houses.
Yeah.
And they're not very long. There's 3 houses. And the weird thing is, all 3 houses...
So there was more houses at Petrified Forest? I thought it was just one big...
Nope. It's three little ones.
Okay.
I thought it was one big one as well.
Yeah.
That's how it was explained to me. Not 3 little ones. Apparently all 3 of them were new this year. Okay. So that was nice. But here's the thing. Even though I don't remember the names about them, my favorite part was not only did they have names, they had locations, because for some reason you need to know that. Like one was in Mexico, one was in Switzerland, and one was in, I want to say it was Alabama. And I'm like, oh God, the scariest of all, Alabama.
Like, you name those 3, I'm like, one of these things just doesn't belong here. Switzerland, that's a weird one.
It was a weird, I want to say it was Switzerland. It was just such a weird
anything that's concept. Just like North Europe, and I'm like, that's not, North Europe isn't scary.
The worst part is when you walked in, you were like, oh, there must be like theming to that.
Yeah.
Not really.
It was you see big flags with a big plus on it or something. Something that's like not scary.
I want to say
not like traditionally scary.
If it wasn't Switzerland, it was most definitely that Northern European style thing.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Switzerland though.
All right.
But anyways, let's go with the first house, which this one was Alabama.
Okay.
It was probably one of the best houses. It seems like the first house and the last house were the ones that got all the attention, and they were like, and then they're like, we could squeeze one more in here. We'll put it right here in the middle, and that's
little Switzerland.
Yeah, little Switzerland. But the first house was really amazing.
Yeah.
When it said it is outside, most of it is outside. There's no roof really above you unless you go into certain scenes.
Yeah.
So the ground is uneven. If you have ankle or foot problems, you are not going through this. It's a nightmare to walk through. It sucked.
The walking sucked.
The walking sucked.
Okay.
If you're not prepared to, it's like, you know how people invite you to a hike, like it's fun, and then you go like, okay, I'll go, and you
all right. First of all, if you tell me hiking is fun, we're not friends anymore.
Really, I like going hiking.
I've never been hiking, and I don't have
really?
I'm not one that's lazy.
I'm not that thing.
I'm not saying I don't. I mean, I'm more of like, I am very pale and the sun hates me, so I'm like, it involves going outside during the day. Like, how long do I have to be outside? Because putting sunscreen on is an inconvenience to the max. First world problems. Anyways.
It's not like I'm an enthusiast.
Yeah.
But if we go somewhere, it's like, you got to go hiking for a while to get to there. I'm like, that's fine. It's just
I'm like, okay, I'll put on a big hat.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you're not wearing the right shoes, which I wore my flats.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I wore these same flat fucking shoes.
Yeah.
And it's horrible to walk in these. You want something
context. When he says flats, he's not talking about like the flats that have like open top and no like.
Oh no, they're closed toe shoes.
They're
like high tops.
Yeah, they look like Vans kind of.
Yeah.
So like they have like no support. That's what he's saying.
They're fucking Converses.
Converse, yeah.
I just picked my fucking shoe.
Yeah, he had to go get his shoe to know what shoe he wears. He doesn't wear. It's like you don't wear that like most times I see you.
Well, I don't give a fuck about my shoes most of the unless I'm wearing them for a purpose.
Hey man,
I don't care.
I wear Nikes. That's where it's at.
Yeah,
that's where real sports athletes wear.
Sure, but anyways, the good thing about this house is one. Oh no, all four of us actually went because Steph went with us too. So there's four of them.
Yeah,
my mother came with me. So this is a weird dynamic where it's me and Samson, and then Sam, Steph, and my mom. So
one of these things doesn't belong here.
No,
it's your mom.
She actually likes haunted houses.
Yeah, she's great. I love your mom. Just that grouping, it seems like a weird grouping.
Don't worry because every time we had to discuss the order of where, because you always have to discuss the order of who's going first.
I'm never first.
Bryce is never first. She didn't want to be last.
Yeah.
She went through the first house last. Bad fucking decision. Because the scare actors they have their show scenes where they should be.
Yeah.
They are not locked down to those show scenes. We had people who would follow us through.
Yeah.
And if the line stopped, like somebody would get in the way, so the line had to stop, the person would stop and they'd get right behind your neck like, what do we stop for? And they would just breathe on people.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate that immediately. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't go.
You're
oh my god.
Next year. I'm taking you.
Negative.
You're not going first or last. You're going to go in the middle.
I'm going to work all the time. I'm going to get 7 jobs. This is not happening.
But yeah, so that's the big highlight of the first house was there was a school bus you had to walk through.
Yeah.
They make you walk up a school bus and out through the back.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird because obviously it's a long bus, but the person who you meet in the front while you're walking through the bus and you're looking around for stuff like what's going to happen, they ran to the back of the bus to get you back there too. It was really neat. Right. The second house, which I'm pretty sure is Switzerland. I'm pretty damn sure it's Switzerland. Was
you want some cheese?
No, I think the reason why I was like that is they were trying to go with like European, because it was like a Mad Doctor type of thing. So they had like a fake accent.
Maybe maybe.
I'm not sure. See, that's why I'm confused on why, if I'm remembering Switzerland correctly.
Keep going on, but I think I'm going to brainstorm what country I think it is.
Okay. Well, the real highlights of this one, because this was probably my least favorite of the houses, is the beginning of the house, your group, because they put you through in sections. They're not like a speed thing where they just put everyone through. They put you through in sections.
Yeah.
There is a bit where you sit on a bench. They sit you on a bench, and they spin the bench around like a hidden bookshelf thing, like in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get spun all the way around, you're in the fucking house. And there's a guy, maybe it's just Germany in general.
Yeah, it sounds like a Germany thing.
But it began with an S, which I'm curious about.
Keep going. I'm looking it up.
Anyways, so you go through, it's just a mad scientist thing. People follow you. I just pulled a muscle in my fucking leg, believe it or not, getting too excited.
Calm down, my dude.
Shit, that hurt.
Oh, man, you just hurt yourself sitting.
Yeah. I need some more potassium. Bryce saw my eyes light up. I'm like, shit, that hurt.
I'm trying to look up what the actual one is to help you out, and then I just look over and see your eyes wide. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I don't pay attention for 2 seconds. You hurt yourself.
It happens a lot.
Oh, man.
I'm very crash heavy. Anyways.
Yeah.
My favorite highlight was that. And the second one was while we're going through, there's these people who caught up behind us because we apparently were just taking too damn long. As soon as I got the opportunity, we went through a room. I realized there was a door and it was loose and I could shut it. Yeah. So I just threw it behind me really slowly. The people, as soon as the door shut, one of the scientists was like, "Oh, it looks like you're stuck here now." And the people were just back there freaking out. I'm like, "Yep, I did my job today."
You're like, when do I get paid for that? That was perfect.
So that was like the beginning and the end of that one.
Okay.
These are going to be really shorthand because I don't know really what you're going to.
Fine, man. We actually have a bit to get through, so it's fine.
Okay, good. And the very last house, which I know is Mexico because it's based off of the island of the dolls, where they have all the dolls strung up. Some guy put them up there for no fucking reason. Yeah. Have you figured out that German thing yet? No. Fuck it. Well, say it's Sweden. How did you get to Sweden? Sorry, you don't get that joke, do you?
No.
There's an Eminem song where he's singing to his daughter, and his daughter ends up in Sweden, and literally the rhyme is, "How did you get to Sweden?" He rhymes Sweden with Sweden.
All right. All right. Keep going, man. All right.
Anyways, so New Mexico.
How did you get to Sweden?
How did you get to Sweden? This house was very well put together because not only did it have parts where the ground was smooth, they had parts where, because obviously you're in a forest, the trees that are low, you have to duck under the trees to get through the house. Like there's tree branches coming through and you're like ducking and weaving under shit. And it
feels like you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, you're not really supposed to be there. It looks like they just built around this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they have...
probably did, and that's a smart idea.
Just like Hollow Scream, they have people on bungee cords, so while you're ducking under trees, there's people coming out of the dark because it's the fucking woods.
Yeah.
And they're flinging through, and we're like, okay. The scariest one was Steph took the front.
Yeah.
Steph took a lot of the abuse in this house.
Steph has little fear, except for Yetis in their face.
She had a bit of fear in this one.
Yeah.
Because as soon as she ducked under a tree, there was another tree you have to duck under, but you couldn't see past it.
Yeah.
This motherfucker came screaming through, running Naruto style, under the tree branch, and literally about closer than I am to you right now.
It's about 2 feet apart.
On Stefan. And I'm like, okay. And again, it was one of those things where it looked like a truck running over somebody. It's like, holy shit, because as I'm seeing it, I'm coming under the tree, and I'm like, oh shit, she just got tackled.
Oh, she is dead.
Yeah. But the only reason why this house wasn't the best, the first house was the best. This one's second place. I got stuck. Sam was stuck behind me.
Yeah.
She got it even worse. We had 2 ladies behind us, not paying attention to the house.
Yeah.
They were talking about going to the store earlier in the day. Like, yeah, so I don't know what she was talking about. I guess just having a mild chatter.
So that's just, don't hang out with those people. You're there to go to a haunted house, and you're talking about things not involved in the haunted house. This is escapism. Stop it.
The worst part about it was the 2 ladies while we're going through.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the fucking house. She goes, "Oh, this is like that thing in Mexico," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" It said it when we walked in.
I think this house, hear me out, is Ghostbusters themed.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things. It's like, what the hell?
The last Slimer thing. Oh, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's how it was. Imagine if you did that, Bryce.
Oh, God.
As soon as you walk in, like, must be was that Frankenstein? Yes.
You walk out of the house. I think I saw Frankenstein in there.
But
that sucks.
The only criticism that I would have majorly, other than the second house being it was short. That was the problem thing.
Yeah.
Second house was short. It took about maybe half hour to do.
Yeah.
Because after you get called, because they do like a color coordination thing, after your color gets called for the first house, you instantly get fast passes for the other 2 houses.
Yeah.
So you just bump through them.
Yeah.
Hope that snap went through.
I think it did.
Anyway, sorry about that. I keep snapping through these recordings.
Yeah, you're very... Also, people don't experience you talking with your hands, which you do heavily.
Yeah, I know.
And you do it also over my computer so I can see your hands.
Bryce, not rude. When I move my hand over here, I purposely put it up higher so you can see my hand moving.
I know, because there's no reason your hand should be at eye level.
But there's not really anything else to do once you get out of those houses.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much, imagine like hell's waiting room.
Yeah.
You're in a room, there's a DJ, food truck, and then there's scare actors that are just sitting in the area with you, scaring you.
Yeah.
But they work like counterclockwise, so they'll do a scare, they'll walk around, and you'll see them come back again and do another scare just to a different person. It's like, it works, but when there's nothing to hide behind, so you're just watching them go around.
Yeah.
The weirdest part about it, though, was it's really nice because it was something for like some service for a pet adoption.
Yeah.
So it's like, DJ playing scary music, scary food, the theming food stuff.
Scare
actors. We got a whole bunch of puppies over here if you want to pet them.
That's the best part of this so far.
Literally, it was one of those things where like, everybody was so happy to pet these damn dogs.
You're telling me, after these houses, like, there's nothing to do. There are dogs, my man.
Yeah, literally.
Go pet the dogs.
Literally, that's what happened. We got done. I'm like, okay, well, it's time to leave. I turn around. Everybody's fucking playing with dogs. I'm like, fine, I guess we'll sit here for 15, 20 minutes and pet fucking dogs.
3 hours later. Oh, this one has, like, a little mustache on his, like, it looks like he has a mustache.
Literally, I imagine if you were willing to wait for the color wheel to go around, because it's like 6 colors, you could literally just DJ, food, pet dogs, go through again. Yeah. I imagine that'd probably be the funniest thing to do.
I was going to have, like... Sweden, I don't know, this was I can't tell. Oh, look, dogs. And he's like, it calms you down. That's a really good idea, actually. It calms you down between the houses. It keeps your energy back down. So every time you go in, you go fresh.
Mm-hmm. You go in fresh, you get scared even more.
I know you don't eat sushi, but with sushi, they have ginger that they offer with it. And it's a palate cleanser. Mm-hmm. So it makes the next sushi bite is fresh. Mm-hmm. So same idea. So it cleanses your palate.
It's like a little glass of water.
Yeah, except the water doesn't affect your taste buds, unfortunately.
Water affects taste buds?
It's supposed to clean it off, but it doesn't fully. The ginger clears it.
Does it? Okay.
It's like shockingly clear. It's like, oh.
I imagine, at least in my head, when you said ginger, I kind of thought of it like, you know how when you eat like peppermint?
Yeah.
It gets rid of all the taste.
Yeah.
But then you have the peppermint stuck in your taste. I imagine maybe it's like that. Like you get the ginger stuck in your taste at that point.
So next piece is like the ginger gets thrown off immediately.
Okay. And then it's not it cleanses, but it's not a strong lasting.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was all of Petrified Forest, right?
That was pretty much all of Petrified Forest.
You went to Dark Horizon.
Dark Horizon was a new haunt invented by people who do the Queen's Mary haunted boat over on the west coast of where we are. So this is their first year coming here to do this.
So is there multiple houses?
Yes, there are 3 houses and 2 shows.
All right, let's start getting through these.
All right, let's move them fast.
Yeah.
The thing about it is it's nice, but it's in a hotel, so it's not that big.
Yeah.
The biggest things with me is the very first house was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a pirate theme. It was a good pirate theme.
Psych.
So, and the funniest part was the first scare in the house.
Yeah.
Was a person we know. She's Maddie, who does stuff over HHN.
Yeah.
Was in that house. Didn't recognize her till she said Samson's name, and we all turned around and went, okay, this is a new experience because we're talking to people we don't even know. We realized it as we were walking out of the room, like, oh shit, that was Maddie.
Yeah. Yeah, she posted about, when she was doing the houses, she posted about it on her Facebook and stuff.
I wasn't friends with her at the time.
Yeah, she had like a code, like go through and say
something, and
so
she would
she
do
knows
stuff.
it's you.
But also, they have a lot of crowd reactions because it wasn't busy. When we went, every house was a walk-in, and no one was with us.
Okay.
So we got a lot of personal reactions. My favorite and stupidest bit that I had was after that, I walked through a room. There was a guy with a ball and chain.
Yeah.
He was like locked into it because I guess he was in the brig.
Yeah. He
was trying to bite through it. He's literally had his mouth on this chain.
Yeah.
He looks at me. He puts the chain up. He goes, "You try." And I put my mouth on this chain and tried to bite it. And as soon as I did that, I laughed. I walked by and I went, I wonder how many other people have put their mouth on this chain.
Do you think he had you do that and his mind was like, gross?
Yeah, probably. Because I imagine he wasn't prepared for me to do it.
Yeah. But if you offer it, people are going to do it.
Yeah. But then another thing that I really like about this house is that it's multiple levels, which I know not everyone can do it because people are in wheelchairs and have bad feet problem.
Yeah.
But I always hate the idea of like when they do haunted houses and it's actually like in a house.
Yeah.
And it's like, why aren't we going to the second floor? And be like, you are on the second floor. But like, we didn't take the stairs though. How do we get up here?
Magical elevator.
Yeah, exactly. But this one, you have to go upstairs and it ends with a slide.
You have to go down a slide?
You have to go down a slide. I think there's a way to opt out because it says it is handicap accessible.
Yeah.
So I imagine maybe they have
there's probably
something over to the side for you to do.
To get you in the elevator?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a magical elevator.
It's spooky.
Press 1.
Yeah, exactly. For hell, and it goes down.
They write on it HEL next to the 1.
Yeah, that would work. I like
Press
that idea.
The fourth L. It's the fourth letter, the L.
But yeah, so you ever go to like the state fair and they have the giant inflatable Titanic slide thing?
Yeah.
Because apparently it's fun to make fun of people who died back in the day. Make it a slide, kids will love it.
I don't know. In the movie, when the guy went and hit the propeller, I laughed really hard.
Well, imagine something like that concept, maybe not as tall.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me because I wear fucking jeans.
Yeah.
So I literally just hopped my ass down the slide.
Yeah.
All right. Where literally as soon as I got done, I was leaving. There's a guy, he didn't even take the slide. I think he just jumped and he fell on he fell not on the ground, but on the inflatable bit at the bottom.
Oh my God.
But it looked like he hit hard, but he was fine. He was drunk. He walked about his day and I'm like, all right.
He left his wrist behind, but his hand is back on the inflatable still, so it's fine though.
All right. Next house. This one was like a redneck kind of theme where they're like cannibals and shit like that. 2 highlights of this house is the first one is they had a giant alligator head that somebody just controlled and it would move towards people to like bite at them.
Yeah.
Really amazing thing. And the second one, that Sam pointed out to me, you know when you see dead bodies, mannequins?
Yeah.
They're mostly dudes. They're
Yeah.
always dude bodies. Not this one. They had a torso of a woman's tits just hanging on the wall. And literally Sam turned around, she goes, "That's what I'm talking about." I'm like, yeah, equality. We're gonna kill everybody. But yeah, it was just so weird because it's one of those things where when you go to HHN,
Yeah.
you don't see stuff like that.
You don't think? I feel like
they
when
censor that stuff.
not even censor it. People say dead bodies. I think it's always a guy.
Yeah.
People don't. I never thought of like, oh yeah, women should be murdered too.
That's gonna get taken out of context. Well, even if they do murder the lady, usually she's somewhat clothed or there's like a cloth somewhere.
Or if they take out the chest, her entire chest is gone.
Yeah, just like the rib cage at
Yeah.
that point. But yeah, this house didn't give a fuck. Like, we're killing everybody. Here's a pair hang. And the worst part is, it's in like a really small hallway, and they're right at eye level. So you look to your left and you're like,
boobs.
"Yep, those are those D's? Those are like D's to me."
I think I know that pair.
Yeah, exactly. like what? When did she die? And
Did she used to go to high school with me?
Jesus. Last house was, and I know it seems weird to save the worst house for last, but it made me laugh a lot. This one, I actually remember the name of it because it's called Voodoo. Yeah. But it's spelled with like U's instead of O-O.
So it's V-U-D-U?
Yeah, something like that. It was really weird.
Okay.
Didn't like this house, mostly because the people who were in front of us took their sweet ass time, so we caught up to them. Yeah. And they would turn around like I was a newbie. They're like, because you know how when you have to go through certain rooms, there's like the noodles you have to move out of the way so you can get through, or like the cloth. Yeah. They would do that. They're like, "Watch out, this stuff closes." I'm like, fucking no. Keep moving.
I have eyes.
Yeah. And I don't think they have timers for their scares. Yeah. They just scare when they see the first person go in the room. Yeah. So they scared the person in the fucking front. And the person so the group of two, they would scare the first person. The second person would make a comment to me, and I would walk by like, "Yeah, okay."
And you didn't get the scare.
Didn't get any fucking
That
scares.
is the worst. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
To the point that when we got out, I was sitting about like, "There's no one in line. I just want to go again." Didn't get a chance because we stopped to watch the shows. Yeah. First show was pretty much like Academy of Villains. They had the guy on the cloth, the people on the cloths doing stuff. Same concept. There's like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah. They all had different performances. Mm-hmm. The second one, I haven't seen somebody play with fire in a while. It was like fire people. Yeah. It was fucking cool. Imagine, and the worst part is, they had to have the barricades a far distance so people weren't near this fire. Yeah. But it was one of those things where it's like you could still feel the heat blowing off of this shit. And it was amazing.
Yeah, I saw some Snapchat posts from Sam, Sam with the fire stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
It was really amazing and impressive.
So that's all you have for Dark Horizon, right?
Pretty much, unless you want to talk about the food. I bought a churro for like $6.
That's the same amount as Halloween Horror Nights, isn't it? It's more expensive.
Yeah, it was an alright churro. I've hungry.
Had one churro my entire life, and it was hard, and I didn't like it.
Well, churros are supposed to be somewhat hard. They're not supposed to be crunchy, but they're supposed to be firm.
I thought entire life was supposed to be like a soft bread.
Nah,
I thought soft would be good.
Imagine like a firm donut, but not like a bad firm.
Well, I'm gonna make everyone hate me for a second. I guess I don't like churros then.
Churros are an acquired taste, especially because people who say, "Oh, they're Mexican donuts," they're not really Mexican donuts. They're their own type of sweet. You know what I mean?
Even donuts can be soft. Yeah, give me soft breads. Anyways. I hate chips.
I bought some awful ass brownies earlier today.
We're gonna talk about the foods at HHN. I got those donuts that you wanted to get and you didn't get. Did you get them on last day?
Nope. I decided not to. I didn't even get pizza fries this year. I'm a bad HHN.
I got the donuts. They were pumpkin donuts. They were fresh. Mm-hmm. They were hot.
What were they?
Hot. Okay. I burned myself on the first one. And they covered it in it's supposed to be for Star Court.
Oh, was it Star Court? I thought it was Ghostbusters.
Because the entire section is Star Court. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be for the Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. But it was the green for Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you can't cross the streams. Get it? Get it? Ghostbusters. So yeah, they were good.
That's probably the best part about Halloween is people who like to try weird foods. Yeah. I like that. I once had one at HHN, it was pizza.
Yeah.
But in the crust, there was a hot dog. So you got to
Oh
eat the
my
pizza.
God.
And then it was like a little pig in a blanket. It was really good.
So let's finish it off with the last house we did together.
Bryce actually went through first in this one.
Yes.
At least through half of it, and then he got scared.
And then I didn't realize you went in front of me because I didn't realize I stopped. Because I was honestly looking at the scenery. Okay,
so what are we going to call this?
I have it marked down as the horror movie house. I don't remember the name of it. It was
Like a community haunted house.
It was a 2-day event.
Yeah.
And it was a haunted house that a bunch of like community people and kids.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of like younger kids, maybe like 13, 14-year-olds in the house.
Before we move any further, this was a $5 house.
Yeah.
But me being as cheap as I am, I went on Groupon, got it for $2.
He got a Groupon to lose $3 off of a $5 ticket. I'm not complaining. I paid for the same thing, so it's fine.
But it was
so it was
worth $5.
It started sprinkling, then it started raining heavily.
I felt so bad. Well, okay, so we had to wait in line.
Yeah. For
our tickets, because apparently even if you do the Groupon, you have to wait in the ticket line. It was weird.
It wasn't a ticket line.
It was a ticket line.
Oh, we had to go show them. We got tickets. You're like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was also the line to get in.
Yeah. But, well, if you didn't have tickets and you were in line, you stopped at the booth and moved back into your spot.
So it's fine.
Anyways, but I felt so bad for the hot dog guy because when it started raining, he didn't have a roof over him.
Yeah,
so everything just got wet.
Everything got wet, and then he had like a box on his head to protect himself, which he drew like a face on it to keep spirits up because he's still getting rained on. But then we walked past and we're like, both Derek and I are like, those hot dogs smell good.
Yeah, dude, I was hungry after that.
So the entire house was themed after. I guarantee movies they don't have the rights to. Because I just saw, it was every haunted, like, scary movie.
Anything that was popular in, like, the last 3 to 4 years.
Not even 3-4 years, like, a while. It was, like, Scream was in there.
Oh, yeah. That was actually a really good one. We'll go through each one.
So, I don't remember a whole lot of the inside.
Do you? Okay.
I remember the first one I went to vividly. Because the first one we went to was Saw.
Yeah.
Which there was a Saw house at HHN last year.
26.
It was one.
No, 27.
And one of the first ones I went to.
So I think it was 27.
So the Saw house, I firmly believe, shouldn't be a house.
It doesn't really work.
It's a suspense movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in jump scares. So the first one we went to, unrelated, because I didn't stay in. Okay, so I was first.
Bryce went first.
This is very important that I went first. Because we're supposed to have a usher guide.
Yeah, we did have a guide. She was there. She was very lovely.
Great. I outran her through majority of the inside. I feel like I shouldn't have. Because I feel like I was cutting things off early, but I left when I thought, like, this is the time for me to leave. And I wasn't scared. It's more like, I don't think they have anything else,
yeah,
so I'm just going to walk.
I know
but
exactly
the usher
what you mean.
didn't move, so I just kept walking. So the first thing we went to the Saw room, and they're like, "You going to help us?" I'm like, nope. And I walked out.
Bryce fucking left the room. The worst part is because it was the first room.
Yeah.
I got to your point where I'm like, I guess I should leave now. I wasn't like that in the first room. I saw you leave, and I looked at our usher lady. I went, okay, I guess, are we leaving? And then she walked. I'm like, fine, I guess we're leaving.
Because every single, like, majority of the times through, I'm sure how many rooms there were in that inside portion.
There was about 6, 7. I know, I remember somewhat the order.
Let's say there's 7, right? Through 5 of them, I left early.
Pretty much.
And to the end, I'm like, I should probably wait.
Now, do you remember what was after that?
No.
All right.
So I remember Clown some point.
After Saw, we went into It.
Yeah.
It,
okay.
I imagine it was based off the first one, and
yes.
They had a very tall teen and a costume.
Maybe an adult.
And maybe an adult, if not, it was a small adult.
Yeah.
And a costume that really didn't fit.
Also context, it was Derek and I, and then Derek's parents.
Yeah, my parents came.
because
it was $2.
Because they invited me, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
And then we stuck him in the rain and made him go first.
Yeah. So his parents, Carl, and your mom, I'm talking about your mom's name, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's my mom.
I only refer to her as your mom.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we call Carl because that's what we call Carl.
That's Carl.
So they're behind us, and we go into the it room. Pennywise jumps out from behind a wall.
Hi, Georgie.
And does the dance like the long, like, wide leg dance right next to your dad, and he looks irritated. They did for a bunch of kids, they did a very good job on this.
Nice.
It was very well. I got different points. If you heard me talking, probably like, let's not having any part of this. But during that part, I had to hold back my laughter a little bit because your dad looked just irritated.
Honestly, I actually think there's only 5 bits in the house.
Well, through a majority of those, I left too early, including this one. As soon as I saw your dad being danced next to him, I'm like, I'm going to leave now. And I just left.
Now, do you remember what the next room was?
No.
The next room after that was Child's Play, better known as, it was Cult of Chucky. At least that's what the poster was.
Was that the one they were in the bed?
Yeah, that's the one where the one girl was in the bed. And then they had...
This one, I felt like I left too early.
You did leave too early because it made me laugh. The girl jumped out of the bed and screamed, but as you were seeing her scream, a kid ran through, dressed as Chucky with like a fake, like,
that's when I
Party
decided
City
to leave.
mask. But the funniest part for me, at least, it was a black chick who was playing it. So the costume, since it was too small, you can see like some of the white, and then you see where her black arms come out.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey man, multicultural.
Yeah. Chucky doesn't care.
Chucky has 2 races now.
He's mixed race.
Yeah.
But that made me laugh because she just came running out of the fucking hallway. Yeah. She put effort into that run. She ran through that fucking hallway.
I'll give her that. I got scared and I left. It wasn't because I was like, I don't want to be in this house anymore. It's like, I don't want to be here next to this scary person anymore. She did a fantastic job. So when I saw that happen, I left. Did anything happen after that?
Nope, that was it.
Cool, next room.
Just hung out. And then I want to say after that, that was the Scream room.
Scream room. This is when I'm like, all right, I should probably slow down. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm outrunning. That's because when I walked into this room, I'm like, I don't think they're ready for me yet. Because that's when I started listening to the guy. She started talking to us a little bit. That's when I first started hearing her.
So pretty much the Scream room was the opening scene to Scream, the movie. On the phone, there's popcorn cooking.
So we're just gonna.
Favorite horror movie.
So the person on the phone is doing her lines. I am 2 feet from her.
Yeah, I'm really close.
I'm like, I was just having a conversation. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be this close. So I'm like, that's when I turn around. I'm actually realized I turn around and look at you guys. Like, should I move? And that's when the lights go out.
Yeah, the lights. Okay, just so you know, this haunted house, all the lights were on.
Yeah,
this building had every light on. So when Ghostface, I almost said Scarface, when Ghostface comes through, the lights cut off, and it's just a guy in a Ghostface outfit.
Yeah,
and he runs
from behind us.
No, he came through the way we were leaving. He came through the exit. Yeah. But the funniest part was you stopped moving at that point, and literally as soon as that happened, the fucking umpire lady was like, "Run, you're on your own." And we're like, "Okay." We walked out, and she followed like 2 feet behind us, and then tried to run in front of us to catch back up to be the usher. It was really weird.
Yeah. At this point, it's just okay.
All right.
So he jumped out.
Stutters.
And I'm like, she said, "Run." I'm like, all right, now's my time to shine.
I'm leaving.
And then the next section was that the portion we were walking through, all like we
were walking,
stuff hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, and all that.
There's like a clown. I don't know who it was in there. What character it was.
It was. I think it was just like I don't think that one had a movie.
Just generic clown.
I think it was just generic clown.
Well, either way, he kept following us the entire way because we're the only one. Because he broke us up in the like waves. It was our group alone.
Yeah, we were pulsed through.
Yeah. So this guy was like in front of me, then behind us somewhere, then in front of me again. He was like running up and down this section, scaring us. And the entire time I'm just yelling, "Nope, you can stay away from me, dude, and let's get through this." And then when you go outside after this,
we went outside after that.
We walked outside. There was a wooden fence on our left.
Yeah,
I'm walking through, just following the usher. Like, okay, I guess we're going outside. I guess it keeps going because she's still here. And then I see a face.
Oh, you talking about the fucking scarecrow?
Yeah, the scarecrow. I turned. I'm like, nope.
Bryce thought it was a real fucking person.
I started talking to it.
Yeah,
like,
he talked to it.
I'm like, you're doing great, man. You can stay there. Stay there.
And it stayed there because it wasn't a fucking person. It was a scarecrow dressed up as a scary clown.
So now we're outside.
This is amazing.
Okay, context. My first house outside is this one.
Really?
You guys went to the outside ones without me.
Oh, well, you're going outside next year, so don't worry about it.
And so we're outside now, and I'm like, don't like this.
Especially because where we went, it was a park.
Yeah.
So as soon as you went out of this building, it was just all trees and shit.
Yeah.
Into like a forest style area.
Yeah.
Which it looked really well because it was based off of Friday the 13th. So there's this big banner for Crystal Lake, and it's like, that looks so cool.
Yeah, that's when I stopped and looked at it.
Bryce stopped, and I was
looking at the sign. I'm like, oh, it looks really cool and stuff.
Sure you were.
I was actually just looking at the sign.
I saw Bryce stop, and I went, well, I'll go first then, and I started walking.
He walked in front of me because I guess I'm going first. I'm like, I guess Derek's going first. I'm just reading the sign.
Reading that sign. for a really long time to read Crystal Lake.
I was appreciating the artwork put into it. It was actually well done.
It was really well, because they hung it up like in the trees.
Yeah, you were
really
giving me
nice.
shit, but it was actually like good. I was not gonna lie, man. Okay, all the walls and all the stuff hanging from the ceiling was all like garbage bags.
Yeah, it was.
We saw this sign. I'm like, oh, this is actually well done.
It was like
I was floored.
black tarp that they hung up.
Yeah.
The worst part is, before we got in the house, we had to wait in the line.
Yeah.
People were losing their shit in that building.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
that's why I said
it was creepy. I didn't see
That's
it.
why I said this one was meant for kids.
Yeah.
And then we just have the youngest person being mean at 23. I feel like
You were the
their demographic.
tallest, though.
I was the tallest, but the youngest. So we went outside. There was a pet cemetery section.
Yeah, Pet Cemetery.
Was that next?
Yeah, because Jason was never there. At least I didn't see Jason.
I know there was a portion where people like eat or whatever.
That was Leatherface. That was
Okay, was that
Texas Chainsaw. That was
somewhere in there too?
it. Was first Friday the 13th. Then it was Pet Cemetery.
Okay, the pet cemetery. I would walk through. I made the joke. They spelled cemetery wrong. Derek goes, no, they spelled it right. I'm like, that's not the fucking okay.
Did they spell it wrong?
In the actual book, it's spelled with an S. Cemetery, the word, is spelled with a C.
I've honestly never noticed that my whole life.
Yeah, they spell it wrong in the book on purpose.
Huh? Why?
I don't know.
I guess because it's technically
I
not
never
a real
read it.
cemetery.
I've never read it, never seen the movie, so I don't know.
Huh.
But they spell it wrong on purpose. So it's...
I've honestly
I made the
never
joke.
noticed that.
They spelled cemetery wrong. And you're like, no, that's how they spell it. I'm like, yeah, and Derek... Okay.
Well, honestly, not really. I thought you spelled cemetery with an S for a while.
No, it's with a C.
Oh well.
Yeah, so
I'm
anyways.
not paid to learn how to spell.
So we're going through that, and it's just like, there's no like scare actors in this section.
Nah, not really.
So we're like appreciating, oh, there's like pets and animals. She points out cats, like fake cats. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there are fake cats. Like, these big spider, hope it doesn't drop down on us. I'm like, oh, yeah. You're like, hope it fucking doesn't. So next was Leatherface, right?
No, I want to say you missed the scene that got everybody. 'Cause Pet Cemetery is where the man in the ghillie suit was. Wait, am I saying that right? Ghillie.
It's ghillie suit. So there's a guy. We're walking through. I see a bush. There's a lot of bushes in this forest area. I'm like, it's just a bush.
It's a forest.
Yeah. So we're walking, and then he just kind of like sits up.
And
I
jumps.
don't see it after that.
Yeah.
I run. I see him jump up. I immediately turn away and speed up. So,
But I say that's the reason why I remember that is because literally she mentioned the spider and I went, yeah, I hope it doesn't fall. And then that's when all the noise behind me happens.
Yeah.
And I saw you.
yeah, because it came at me, which good choice. I was the most like scared one out of our group. I'm a scared one out of most of our groups. So that it's either me or Max. It's one of us. So it gets me. I
Freak
run.
out. And that leads into the Texas Chainsaw thing.
So we're walking up, and I hear a noise of like not clapping, just like pounding.
Yeah, they were hitting the table with stuff.
Walk up, and I see children.
Yep.
Sitting at a table.
Yep.
I've never seen this movie.
Have you not seen? Oh, they're not children in the movie. They're grown adults.
I see children. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, my first thought was like, is this part of the house? They're like, eat. I'm like, no, I'm full. And then the person jumps out, letting the Leatherface jumps out from the bushes behind your dad.
The skinniest Leatherface in the world.
And he yells something about eating. I'm like, yeah, I can feed him. He's hungry.
Well, yeah, they're cannibals in the movie.
Yeah, so either about eating. I'm like, I was like, I'm hungry. I'm like, yeah, feed him. He's hungry. It's a match made in heaven. I keep walking.
And that was pretty much the end. Literally after that, we walked in the forest for like another minute or so.
Yeah.
And then the lady turns around, she goes, "Thanks for coming," and she runs the fuck off. And we can see the parking lot, but we're still technically in the woods, and we're like,
she has to go back to the beginning to go.
To go and reset.
So,
but it's just one of the things where we were left in the woods for a good minute.
I was thinking while we're talking about this, I'm like, I saw your dad get mad.
Yeah.
Your dad is an anomaly.
But I say he doesn't get mad. He looks mad.
Yeah, he looked very angry when
that
Pennywise came towards him.
He's the equivalent of, have you seen Jeff Dunham?
Yeah.
You know Walter?
Yeah.
He's not always mad. He just looks mad.
Yeah.
He's Walter.
So, that entire house, I wonder if your dad got scared.
He doesn't. He literally...
did he have fun, at least?
Yeah, he had fun.
Cool.
He's
like you said, he just looks mad.
He's like me. He doesn't get scared. He appreciates the artwork of it. Because especially...
Because it's... I'll say this. I think we both agree. It's like... We both enjoy wrestling. Mm-hmm. It's a...
He
haunted
likes
houses.
wrestling.
Haunted houses it's art.
Yeah.
To some point.
Yeah.
and
it's art. Damn it! No.
It is. Like people put a lot of time and effort, and there's an art to it.
Yeah,
and
as long as you're trying, you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
And these people were trying.
So I'm gonna say this after we shit on a lot of houses this episode.
This was a good house.
Yeah. We showed on a lot of they put effort into all of this, and we're not going to just say that effort wasn't appreciated, but like this last one I appreciate the most, because it's like they're just a bunch of fucking kids having fun.
Yeah,
that's all it's all about.
This is most definitely this would be a haunted house you would take like your little kids to. You know, you can't take some people take their really little kids to HHN. It's a little intense. When you can take like a 3-year-old to this and they'll be fine. Yeah.
I feel like you don't start appreciating like it's starting getting scared or until around 10.
Really?
I'm like double digits. All right, now time for haunted houses.
Yeah, now for the serious haunted houses.
Yeah, I mean the serious just like all right now more like now I expect you to get scared.
Yeah.
Before that, it's like all right, please don't scare my kid. I have to deal with this later. And the 10-year-old's like he'll have nightmares, but it's fine.
But yeah, it was all the houses were very nice this year.
Yeah, this is a very special episode.
Even the ones I was disappointed in, I can at least say. Everyone that was in it, was in it to win.
Yeah, everyone put effort in.
Yeah.
Unlike last year,
except for you, Steve.
Yeah, fuck you, Steve. Except for last year when I went through Stranger Things and the guy who played Hopper put zero effort in, and that was hilarious. That was the funniest. That was the funniest house I've ever been in. Like he because before that, I said Star Cinema was funny because there's a point where the thought out portion wasn't really there because it was a shift change when I went through, and there's a portion where in the middle of the house you walk back through the arcade to get through the other movies, and a person just walks out with scissors and like does like a motion like a stab you, and they have to walk back. I'm like that's kind of funny. But there's supposed to be another person in there.
Yeah, where they're like fighting.
I went through that house like 4 times. I only saw them once.
Yeah,
the second person in there. So every other time, just one person alone, one scare actress the entire room.
They did that with us this year, where at the end, where she's fighting her doppelganger with the fire poker. You know how there's supposed to be 2 of them fighting.
Yeah,
they had only the one with the fire poker run out.
Yeah,
she did the thing, and then she acted like you know, like in old cartoons, people would slide their hat forward and walk like a boss over. That's what she kind of did. She kind of like. Back to her spot. I'm like, okay, I guess she's gonna go hurt somebody over there. I guess
he put an effort in.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very special episode. It's probably gonna be twice as long as the other ones because we're done with the houses. It's already been 1 hour 15 minutes.
Shit.
But I want to talk about these other things. It's not enough to do a full episode.
Oh, okay. You should have sped me up. I would have moved fast.
So we're talking about the rest of the media we consumed. Because I want to end this on a certain note. The rest of the media we consumed this entire Halloween. We both of us watched It Chapter 2.
Yes.
This is my first watching a scary movie as an adult. And
you consider it as a scary movie?
It was good. It got me. I hated the old woman who got naked. Didn't like that scene at all. I was uncomfortable and scared the entire scene. The other scenes, like jump scares, got me. Jump scares always get me. But that scene just made me uncomfortable to the level like it should. It was really well put together. Do you have anything to say?
I liked It Chapter 2. I liked the first one a lot more. The problem with It Chapter 2 is that the reason why people like the first one is because they really like the kid actors that were in it.
Yeah.
So they had to bring them back, and I think that took away from the adult segments, because literally the adult segments are, I walk into this area, flashback, and it's the kids again, which is really nice, because you got to have in there what's going on.
I forget who plays which characters, but the 2 of the adult actors are fans of.
They're on point, though, if they're kid actors.
I forget his name. The main guy?
The one with the stutter.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did.
As a guy with a stutter, to have someone with a stutter is good to see.
But I say all of them worked out pretty well with their counterparts. It's one of those things where, and it's really long. Yeah, it's longer than the first one.
Yeah, I was in that movie theater for a long time, but it didn't actually feel that long. No, for me, it was hell the entire time, but it didn't feel that long. The scariest portion, clearly, was the Hall of Mirrors scene. That was by far the scariest shit to me.
They actually
that race to the kid that got me.
If I'm remembering correctly, he requested that scene to be in that movie. Originally, it wasn't the actor. He wanted that funhouse scene in there.
That scene felt like there was a chance, and you were like, no. Get him, please. You can't let him get him.
Nope, and he got most definitely.
Yeah, the kid didn't make it.
There's actually an Easter egg for the original Pennywise, Tim Curry. in there. When you're going through and all those clowns are swinging,
Yeah.
one of them is in the looks like that one, which is a really neat little Easter egg.
All right.
But yeah, Chapter 2 is really good.
Yeah,
I think. Sorry.
I didn't watch the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to. Not gonna lie.
We'll watch the first one.
You keep saying this stuff, and I'm gonna keep weaseling my way out of it.
Now, I'll get you one day. The problem with it is that if you watch one, you always have to watch two because it even says chapters in it. But if you watch them both together, that's like a 6-hour commitment.
Yeah.
You gotta have a whole day to sit down and watch these movies.
Yeah, you get to call up to work one day.
Yeah,
to watch 2 movies.
No, you know what the worst part is? I ended up watching Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah.
They were talking about like how this was like the longest run time.
Yeah.
If like for any movie of that that year when it came out, like in the 50s or whatever the fuck that movie came out. You know how long it was?
What?
It was just 60 minutes. And I was like, remember the good old days of movies?
An hour.
Yeah, an hour. 1 hour. Most movies reach almost 3 hours now.
Remember how long people were gonna watch Endgame like make sure you pee beforehand?
Yeah. Didn't need to.
First of all, I'm gonna fight you. I'm an adult. I can what? Don't tell me to. I can hold. Okay, I'm an adult. You have to remind me to pee
beforehand.
If you have to pee every hour and a half, see a doctor. Because I go maybe like 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be peeing every hour and a half.
You know what the funniest thing about that one was when people were freaking out about that. Like, it's 3 hours long, which isn't, at least to me, isn't a big deal. I sat there the whole time.
Yeah.
I loved all the hooty snooty. People were like, well, y'all don't remember when Lord of the Rings came out. I was like, no, we don't, because we have fucking lives. We're going to watch superhero movies, damn it. Fuck you and your Frodo.
Okay, on that awesome note. That was the only movie I watched this year. That was a scary movie.
I honestly didn't watch a lot of horror movies. I did recently watch the new Rob Zombie 3 from Hell.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch it at our Halloween party.
We're going to get to the Halloween party in a bit.
All right. So I had to watch it the next day. So it was weird.
I'm going to do a quick rundown. You took me to Disney.
So yeah.
I didn't do Haunted Mansion. I've never done Haunted Mansion.
So we had to do Haunted Mansion.
We did Haunted Mansion. And we also did, unrelated to Halloween, Space Mountain and Pirates of the Caribbean. Mm. I did Pirates of the Caribbean for the second time because I just love that ride. I love pirates.
Oh, yeah, we did. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't say that we didn't, because we went through it, and I got soaked.
I forgot.
I don't know.
I forgot.
Remember, there was a point during that ride when the bomb goes off next to me.
Yeah.
And I just look over
and
and
splashed.
I look at you and I'm like, I got wet. And then we went back through. We're going to end with Haunted Mansion. Right. We did Space Mountains. Okay. During that, first time I ever did Space Mountain, you giggle like a little schoolgirl the entire time.
I laugh on Space Mountain because it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of the simpler times.
We were getting on the ride. You told me to take my glasses off.
Yeah, well, it's dark, so...
And the entire ride, I was yelling, "There's so much wind on my eyes!"
I couldn't hear you at all.
Yeah, because you were laughing over your own.
Even then, I wouldn't be able to hear you. Yeah, there's a lot of noise in that ride.
Based on my quote, there's a lot of wind.
There's a lot of wind. But you did have fun. And you didn't throw up.
Yeah, I felt a little weird afterwards because my stomach doesn't work properly. Mm-hmm. So it was still a weird state when I got off. I wasn't going to vomit, but I'm like, that's so I don't feel good. Then we did, and last but not least for our Disney trip, Haunted Mansion.
The Haunted Mansion, which Bryce has never done.
Yes.
Do you mind if I get an opinion out real quick?
Sure.
Back in the day when they made the Haunted Mansion, or while they were making the Haunted Mansion, there was a big fight on if it should be weird and creepy style or if it should be fun style.
Yeah. That's
why the house is divided in half.
Yeah.
I like the beginning bit first the most, and then the second half is all right. And that's why I liked your opinion about the house, because at the end, you have an opinion about the end of that house.
So we're going through the house. First of all, we get in. The thing closes on my knee. It hurts.
Oh, yeah. I will lower the safety bar. It comes down, and all I hear is Bryce just say, ah! And I'm like,
I have very long legs, and I wasn't prepared what angle these were coming down at. I smacked. The hard bar hit my knee super hard. So first couple minute of this ride, I'm in pain.
I'm trying to point stuff out to Bryce that I like at the beginning of the house, and Bryce is just agonizing pain, like, shh, I like this portrait over here.
I'm like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm fine. That's my actual voice. Yeah, I'm fine. It's like, so the house, I felt like the stretching room was fantastic.
Yeah.
There were kids freaking the fuck out when we were in there, and that was great.
My favorite is, I literally had it was a little boy, like their father was holding him.
Yeah.
and we're in this room, and I've already seen the show multiple times. Oh, sorry, I've already seen the shows multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at this little boy, and he just looks petrified, and we're locking eyes, and then the lights just go out, and I hear him fucking scream. And I'm like, yeah!
Yeah, get that kid. The rest of the... Where you pointed things out to me, I thought were really good. There was, like, the point with the attic where it had, like, the woman in there. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I liked the effects. And then it got to the dancing in the graveyard scene.
Yeah, that scene's... It's neat.
The effects were good. You could see forever. You could it turn you, and you can see all the different like parts of it, but it runs so fast through it, and there's so much like going on. It's hard to appreciate any portion of it.
Yeah, it's more of like a fun house of anything.
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
Yep.
Which I feel like that's the effect that
Yeah,
they
it's
want you
supposed
to
to be
get,
a party,
but
so.
you can't really appreciate the different parts of it very easily. Like when we were going through the attic, there was the one with the woman who's like talking about making the death and the wedding quotes.
Yeah.
I can't quote any of them, but it was a good effect. You know,
Hatchaway, I want to say is her name.
Yeah,
Miss Hatchaway.
And that was the main portion of that. You got to see the different portraits of like her and then like a ghost guy, and that was cool. And you can see actually her, and she says that, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. And then you get to that portion, you can't really appreciate anything. Of it. Because I saw the portion was like the head and one of them that's broken. I saw like half a second of that, and then we quickly got turned away.
Yep.
I'm like, cool, I guess.
Literally, because that's where the compromise was made. So the whole beginning of it is creepy.
Yeah.
And then the fun parts are considered like the dining room scene.
Yeah.
Which you have to look down at.
Which I thought was fine.
Yeah, that looked fine because it's only one way. It's not around you, it's in front of you. So you can look at everything. And then there's the graveyard scene, which is everywhere around you, so you have to like literally become an owl and rip your head around. They're like, what is that, and while it's ripping you around, you're missing bits of it. Like you didn't even see any of the pop-up ghosts. There's actually like old school ghosts like on sticks behind things, and it's like this, and it'll go.
Yeah, so they come out and they have this scaring effect.
Yeah, but I don't think you saw any of those. There's a couple of them in there too, so we just got really unlucky with the jump zone.
Yeah, so like maybe because I know they do a Christmas one too.
That's only over in LA.
That's lame.
They don't do it here. Literally, if they were doing it, it's still going on right now. It starts in October all the way till the end of the year. So if you want to go to California, we can go to Disney.
Lame. So this is our very long episode. I'm gonna have to release this after a certain thing.
The new record, the longest one.
This is seriously, we're approaching an hour and a half right now.
The long haul.
So we're gonna end this. We're gonna end this on my two favorite portions of Halloween, which we did on Halloween.
Okay.
Which you got to play Betrayal in the House on the Hill for the first time.
Which is it was an okay game.
Well, I feel bad for you because the very first game you played, you died very quickly.
Yeah, I died instantly.
Well, you did end up winning.
I didn't win shit. You won.
We'll play again.
I died.
I have the game. We'll play again. It's my favorite board game, and it's fantastic. It's a very horror. If you guys haven't played, it's a horror themed board game where you explore a haunted house. You get different things, and then a haunt starts, and one of you becomes
evil.
Could possibly. It's something that nobody's the haunt, but you could possibly become the evil person. And it's a great game. Every time you play it, there's a chance that you get a different thing you never tried before for a different haunt. There's like 30 different haunts. There's a huge amount. I still haven't played all of them.
I think the only reason why I didn't enjoy it as much is because of time constraints.
Yeah.
We had actually a part where we went from 5 to 4.
Yeah.
And I think that really threw everything off at that point. And then I was trying to roll stuff, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
How the fuck does the basement go to the foyer, but the foyer doesn't go to that? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the artwork it's hard to explain because the artwork doesn't help. But once you understand it a little bit, it's like, yeah. Talking about understanding.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, Derek.
Fuck you.
So, you might have heard in our first Halloween in Review episode, we went to the Ghostbusters house, and I told Derek, we'll talk about it.
The worst house of the year was Ghostbusters, and it had nothing to do with the house.
And his opinion changed on that on Halloween.
Fuck you, Ghostbusters.
Because, hey, Derek, you want to talk about the Ghostbusters board game?
No, I don't, because we didn't get to fucking play it.
So our dear friend Max, he bought a Ghostbusters board game on sale.
The day of Halloween.
Yes.
It was on sale.
And
there's a reason why it was on fucking sale.
We had to open it up. We had to take all the plastic off of it, all the saran wrap. We opened it up, we got our characters ready. We started like making the board because it's a campaign game, so different scenarios. So
we went with the most simplest campaign.
The very first one.
The first campaign.
It ends the scenario is supposed to end with you facing Slimer. So we're like, all right, so we get the first one all set up, get it going. We're going through the instructions. All right, how do we move? Okay, we can do this way. And an hour and a half later,
it was almost 2 hours. Don't you be coy. It was almost 2 hours.
As long as this episode is, we're still figuring out how to play this game.
And by this point, I was pissed off about the first game.
So at one point in time, Derek is laying down on the table, and he brought
Monster cereal.
All the Monster cereal for us to enjoy, which we're very thankful for him for having.
I'm still eating that shit. I had a bowl this morning.
All of us had some, and it was great. And he had his bowl next to him, and he finished it. And he's laying down next to it out of frustration. And I look at him, I'm like, "Hey, Derek, you finished that bowl? Hey, Derek, are you done with the bowl, Derek? I don't want you to spill that bowl. It looks like you're done with it. I'll take care of you done with it. You done with it?" And he just looks at me, he's like, "Shut the fuck up."
The thing that killed me was every time we figured something out, there was a new problem to figure out. The thing that killed me...
You ready for the quote?
Yeah, I'm going to do the damn quote. Sam, who was sitting next to me, looks at the board, looks around, and goes, "How do the ghosts move?" I lost it at that point. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. I'm just going to lay down. So I slid my bowl over, and Bryce pissed me the fuck off about this stupid fucking bowl.
Are you done with the bowl?
No, I wasn't. I wanted more cereal, but I was pissed off. And I literally... This is at like 1:30 in the morning or so. I imagine her apartment was probably like, what the fuck's going on in this room? Because I just start screaming about how much I hated everything.
Derek snaps and just starts screaming. He's laughing and screaming at the same time because
I am the Joker.
Yeah, I don't think. Have you ever been that mad?
In front of y'all? No.
Yeah, I've never seen it because you were. Because he started just like screaming about this goddamn game, because I should elaborate. She said that's when you laid down. I started asking things. You're like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, I was like,
and then a little time has passed, and then Sam asks again, "How do the ghosts move?" And that's when you snap.
How do the ghosts move?
How do the ghosts move?
Who the fuck cares how they move? This game's bullshit. The worst part is you're so happy that one, it wasn't my game, and two, we weren't at my place.
Yeah.
Because if it was one or the other, I would have flung that fucking board game into a wall because it was in pieces.
And then kicked us out.
Yeah, I would have like, everybody get the fuck out. No, you can't get your shit. Come get it tomorrow when I'm calmed down. Get the fuck out.
Derek was actually crying.
Yeah, I was so upset with this board game.
He was laughing and screaming and crying at the same time. He had to wipe his tears with a napkin.
You said you watched Batman Beyond, right?
Yeah.
You ever see Return of the Joker in Batman Beyond?
Yeah.
Remember the scene where they turn, is it Dick Grayson in the little Joker? And he shoots Joker, but he's laughing and crying? Yeah. That was me. I'm like,
he's losing his shit. So now it's a meme amongst us two, Sam, everyone that was there.
And people at the office at work.
Yeah, because I brought it up to them, like, all right, Derek loves Ghostbusters.
I fucking hate you.
Because Derek is... Okay, Ghostbusters is now his least favorite thing. For bringing up Ghostbusters, he hates it.
I didn't like... The worst part is, I wasn't a big fan of Ghostbusters, the movie, either. So it was one of those things like, it was neutral, like, yeah, I can watch it if it's on. Yeah. Now if it's on, don't want to fucking hear about it. Not one fucking bit. Get it the fuck out of here. Don't like any of the Ghostbusters.
I love when I get to be part of inside jokes from the very source. Because not only was I from the source, I caused this.
Yeah, dude.
I feel it in my bones.
It was a combination of just and the best part about it was we had to move on to a new game because there was no way we were continuing this one.
Yeah, there's no way we could continue that or we're going to end the night like that.
Yeah.
So we ended up playing Super Fight for a little bit, which was great.
I got to argue about, so
I could use
my yelling voice to fight people.
And we're not going to bring up that game because then I'm going to get mad.
I'm untouchable.
Okay.
You're untouchable.
Hey,
I had a card that said I was untouchable.
Hey, Derek. Come on, man. How do the ghosts move?
Fuck you. Go fuck yourself.